Some reasons why it's possible that the idea of these like jumbo jets may be approaching an area of stupid. Because here's a fact: a small aircraft piloted by a person who uses expertise of flight, who actually understands what he's doing, will never fall out of the sky. Why? He's never going to get in the thing, he's never going to take off. Seriously. There's another problem. Towards the end of it, it becomes terrifying. Why? Yeah, she's falling back. She's falling. She's allowing gravity to tap. Yeah, just making her weightless because she's falling towards preparing to land. Yeah, I still perceive that as hating the girl. What would have been the job of Jesus? Why did Jesus come to earth? You would have had a natural problem in the ancient Greco-Roman society there. It would have been similar to what is happening in the United States and parts of the European Union today. It basically would have been people becoming drunk with this new Greek knowledge. You have basically these people who think they're masters of math. People who think they're masters of geometry. People who think they're masters of architecture mostly. Basically using the fortunes of math, probably very similar to the methods that exist today. Meaning there would have been corporations and similar entities in Rome. You would have a problem of an imbalance of power by people who were attempting, of course, you have a problem because people who amass this type of power like this have only limited understanding. And then you had this problem. Basically, people trying to install the ChatGPT. See, of course, the problem with ChatGPT is an attempt to reduce all artificial intelligence into this little chatbot. That's the problem with ChatGPT. That's why it's starting to become hated. Because ChatGPT attempts to put that entire girl you saw in the previous video in this little chatbot with only one function. Of course, it's nonsense. That's not AI. There are a couple of possibilities for what this could be in ancient Rome. Let's say go on, or your ideas. He said most likely it probably was a standardization of private residences. It very possibly, in her thinking, the most likely problem would have been this, like, religion law, mostly trying to specify where the equivalent of the elimination outhouse area was. Because the thing is, they would not have put it on the bottom in the corner. They probably said it belonged on the top. Here is why. In some studies of Castle from a related area that was a little coming after that, they talk about the latrine area being at the top of a tower because it could be aerated there. They're trying to keep the smell away. Trying to basically think you can hear a problem with that. The problem with that is that creates basically the cess color. And there were lots of horror tales from the Middle and Dark Ages talking about the unfortunate man had to go in there and deal with that problem. Problem is that whole problem occurred because of this construction method. Of course, it was another problem. Of course, that stank like hell. It doesn't solve any problem. We actually created a horrible one. You have another one if you have some nonsense in there about there being some virtual feces falling over 50 feet. Yeah, whatever. So that would have been probably the primary area that GSC needed to attack. Of course, how you attack something like that? How do you actually solve a problem like that? The thing is, the way you solve a problem like that by making it obvious, just by making it obvious, because they didn't want to. You see, the thing is, in Rome, nobody wanted to Ben Affleck equal at solving that problem. Of course, that's acceptable today, and that prevents that problem today. See, these various comedians who run this stupid comedy, who run this stupid images comedy, are very effective at preventing construction like that in the United States. But they didn't. I guess they understand, and they may not have understood that. That may have actually, to tell you the truth, that we have a problem in these new schools of Greek thought when you remember that most of society didn't even understand what language was. Of course, it's different today. Anyway, the job of Jesus. That's why God, the mission God gave Jesus, frankly, would have been to demonstrate correct marriage. Basically, what Jesus probably was supposed to do is find a woman and publicly marry her in a way that made sense. And frankly, God would have told Jesus, Ami said this. God told this to Jesus. Hey, can't handle a woman? I'll get a doll and do it with the doll. We have a problem because that's what I did. I'm going to go in like stupid. Not now. Jesus' instructions were this. Basically, either get a woman and show the proper way to marry her, or do it with a doll at least. That's what God told Jesus to do. Who, of course, was, the son of Mary and Joseph. He was blessed by God to do this work. See, of course, Jesus was very successful saying he didn't follow instructions. At all. At all. He's not following instructions at all, because the thing is, there is no place in the gospel that Jesus has face saying here is what you do to get married. In other words, I'm not a perv. Because that was a problem too. You have a problem there in that this Roman thing should be a lot easier, because all marriage in that society, of course, was standard. You have a big problem there. You actually have a problem there with a woman getting pregnant. What did a man do who needed that, didn't want to exactly give that to a woman? Yeah, he did it with his doll, because that made sense. Of course, there's another problem there. I'll be honest. The reason why I sleep with a doll, not with a woman, is because childbirth is painful for a woman, and the woman said, please do it to me. There are two planned versions of this. One, generally, is probably going to look kind of like this. Yeah, it's one version of it. And generally also because this accompaniment, which is big and boxy and heavy, and it hurts if you drop on your toe. And the other, in keeping with certain cultures, very likely will look like this. Those appearances, of course, are so that these devices are easily identifiable. A couple of things. It's necessary to be able to separate this. Necessary to be able to separate photos of this from photos of, these. 2, or maybe 3, 4. There's a certain type of religion speak which, as of now, is highly unwise, and them pastors need to be brave enough to speak about Jesus in ways that make sense. First, I'm going to say the stupid part of the teaching, and then the easy, correct teaching that is easily compatible with existing Christianity, which really was not a problem until maybe about 5 years ago. Seriously. The stupidity teaching runs like this. It basically is versions of it's not possible to understand Jesus, or it's not possible to understand God. This includes teachings including that Jesus will solve all your problems for you, or that God is an auto problem solver, or that thinking is not necessary in the implication of either God or Jesus. Of course, most often, this simply seeks to be a lazy teaching or attempt to appease stupid people. That's not going to be wise very much longer. That doing the type of nonsense is going to cause a problem. Here's an example of something that a fairly well-known person was doing. First, this pastor was attempting to make the case that he does not understand English. Well, guess what? We don't care. Because a person who doesn't understand English probably should not be speaking on the stage in America. In any concept. Because you have a problem that, 8-year-olds who speak in front of their class are doing so to demonstrate knowledge of English. So the first one is that, a well-known religion leader basically saying that he doesn't understand English or grammar, or even going worse and lying about, that's obvious. Because, seriously, there was this person standing in the pulpit attempting to make the case that he was so knowledgeable in grammar that I don't understand anything. They need to stop doing that, because you understand a lot if you're able to say that. You need to tell the truth. Seriously. A further problem that occurred when basically this person pointed to this cheaply made accommodation of wooden boards filled with straw hay, and then trying to say that that was how he understood the birth of Jesus. No. Seriously. No. That type of teaching will get a person in trouble, and in some cases possibly worse. The birth of Jesus is the glorious, honorable, correctly taught, presented, godly appearance of the God-man on earth and nothing else. You have a problem in that any understanding of reality of what probably happened around the turn of the first millennium, around the year 1, please. What happened around the year 1 requires that, because there needs to be some explanation for why the Greek and Roman schools of thought were successful. Why were they successful? Some type of Jesus force existed on earth at that time. And any reasonable understanding of Gospels, any of them, explains this force. You have a problem there. The only way the crucifixion as being a violent event is possible is if there's some stuff in the Bible to support that. Or basically, it's various types of Jesus wept, Jesus did not understand. What is the story? For you have a crucifixion that style, you must teach seriously that Jesus decided to stop being Jesus. Why? He never was the God-man. Why? He started acting stupid when people disagreed with him. You have a problem there, as that's a caution against a certain type of pastoralship. You basically had this situation where Jesus stopped using power. Why? He started going on this nonsense about how he was going to raise a temple in 3 days. Going to raise his temple in 3 days. See, at that point, the Roman leaders got smart. They got smart. All right, okay. But Jesus probably went to the next town. That's what they thought. The actual Jesus or real Jesus, he's probably already down the street. Because we see this guy talking about this nonsense. We're basically going to establish a God king that made no sense. Why did it make no sense? Because there was no ruler. There was no ruler. That made no sense. He simply talked about all this. Things that made no sense. Saying, here's a problem. We basically attempted to associate. The problem was him attempting to associate a destruction with the work of God. See, prior to that, all the miracles were an improvement of successful situations. Why is that applicable to the illness situations? Because the thing is, illness was a fact of life in ancient Rome. Illness was a fact of life in ancient Rome. You also got to be careful, caution. You actually analyze what's happening. Jesus was a major proponent of sanitation. Read it, it's in there. Jesus was a major proponent of sanitation. That's why he talked about order a lot. Order in ancient Rome meant sanitary, meaning you picked up the garbage and worse stuff.